All right, welcome to tonight's team call. I am super excited to introduce Stefanie Anthony. She is a diamond coach, and she has been in a Success Club 10 All-Star, which if you don't know what that means that she has hit Success Club 10 consecutively for 12 months, which is a huge, huge accomplishment. And she is a mom of two, so she's going to be talking to us tonight about inviting and leading the conversation, which I know behind the scenes I'm talking to you guys all the time about inviting and getting confident talking to people. So put everything away, put your cell phones, everything away, take some notes, because I'm sure what she's going to give to us tonight is going to be really helpful.
All right, thank you so much. So nice to be here tonight. So I want to start off with a little bit of my story so that you can understand exactly why I approach things the way that I do. Like Kelly said, I am a mom of two, so my time is extremely limited with how I work my business. I work my business in the morning and in the afternoon during nap time and sometimes at night, but my time is limited. I cannot sit and work for 3-4 hours in a row. So I really need to be intentional with my time, especially the income producing activities. I started coaching back in 2017, but I wasn't doing it full time, kind of dabbled here and there. And I started coaching because my coach found me in a mom's group, and I was that mom on Facebook checking into the gym. I was a big gym rat with all my motivational quotes. And she asked me about coaching. I said no. My son was about 1 at the time. He was my first. And I was like, oh, I'm still getting used to being a mom. Like, no, I'm good. I'm happy going to the gym, checking in. And then in November of 2016, I ended up in the hospital for 6 days. And on day number 5, they told me I had lymphoma. I had marginal B-cell non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And right then and there, I thought to myself, life is so short. You don't know what tomorrow brings. So why not do the things that you want to do? I'd always thought about coaching, but I had that mindset of I'll never be successful and I don't have the time. So right there in the hospital, I messaged my upline. I'm like, listen, I want to do this, but I need to get through my chemo first. And once that's done and I'm cleared, I'm all yours. So fast forward to June, once everything was done and my scans came back clear, I started coaching. Didn't go all in at first, like I said. My upline was still new, so she didn't know a whole lot about the business. And then in January of 2019, I said, myself and my success partner, we're going to go all in. We're going all in. We're going to get to diamond and beyond. So in September of 2019, right? Yeah, September 2019. I didn't think about that. I became diamond and I've been building my team ever since. And one of the things that I do is I invite with intention to both challenge groups and to the coaching opportunity. And when I say I invite with intention is, like I said, I don't have a lot of time. So I don't spend the time having these long conversations with people because number one, I don't have the time, like I said. And number two, I would not want to be invited that way. And in this business, we always talk about inviting how you would want to be inviting and be authentic to yourself because that is who you're going to attract to your business. So how I invite is a lot of my inviting is through my Instagram story because those people who are watching your story, they're in your store. And when I mean they're in your store, they already know what you have to offer. You don't walk into, Lululemon and wonder what they offer. You already know when you walk in there. And when the girl says, what are you looking for? Are you looking for pants to run in, pants to do yoga in? She's not asking you about your kids. She's not asking you about your job. She doesn't care. She wants to sell you a pair of pants that are going to fit your needs. And that is how we need to approach these people who are in our store. We want to give them what they need. So if they need to lose weight, they need to tone up, if they'd be a great coach, that's what we need to do. So when you are speaking to people from your story who are in your store, people who are liking and commenting on your post, don't feel like you need to go and have those long conversations with them, because if you're doing your business activity tracker and you're doing the bare minimum of inviting 5 people a day, and on average throughout the entire conversation from inception to either them joining you or them giving you that no, leave me alone, and you're spending an hour, and it's probably more, but I'm just going to say an hour per person, 5 people a day, that's 25 people a week. If we're doing 5 days a week, if you're not putting 6-7 days into your business, that's 100 hours a month. Do you have 100 hours a month? Because I certainly do not. And if you do, let's talk after this, because I love to speak with you and see how we can add those hours to my day. But that's 100 hours a month, you guys. That 100 hours can be put into your business in other ways. Team trainings, training for yourself, maybe attending a conference, spending time with your family. That's 100 hours. So if you're inviting with intention, you are banking 100 hours into yourself every single month. Like, if you really think about that, that is so much. So now, like I said, if we're inviting from our Instagram story, from our likes, from our comments, these are people who are already warm. So somebody who's watching you on your workout, and when they walk into your store, you need to make sure that store is stocked, meaning that your workout needs to be on there. Talking about coaching needs to be on there. Talking about wins, and also including your family and all of that stuff. But all of the things that on our business activity tracker need to be stocked on your shelves in your store, so that when you are having these conversations with people and you say, oh, hey, my next group kicks off on August 1st, they're not like, what group? And they have no idea what you're talking about. So what I like to do is, whatever I'm talking about in my story, I make sure that my storefront has a poster, meaning my Instagram feed matches that. So that if they didn't catch your feed, at least they caught your story. If they caught your feed and they didn't catch your story, it's there. So there's no question of what's in your store. They know exactly what you are talking about when you say the coaching opportunity, my challenge group. So if this is somebody who is liking, commenting, watching your story, you just say, hey, Lisa, thank you so much for watching my story. I hope that I've entertained you and inspired you in some way. I saw that you watched the story about my next challenge group that kicks off on August 1st. So pumped for this. Can't wait to start MBF. I could shoot you some information if you're looking to achieve some health and fitness goals. And most people are like, oh yeah, like definitely shoot over the information, or they'll give you their reasons of why not. And then you have to walk them through their excuses. They're not reasons, they're excuses when people aren't joining you. And basically an excuse is just reasons wrapped up in lies. So it's an excuse that these people are giving you. And it's your job as a coach to walk them through this excuse in that very moment, so that you are utilizing your time and you don't have to go back to them. And I don't want to say waste that time, because you're not wasting your time, but give them more time than they actually need to join you. Because if you're walking them through those excuses right there and then, it'll at least, at the very minimum, get them thinking, because you've walked them through that excuse. So if somebody says, I don't have the time, well, what do you feel is taking up your time that you don't have the time? And they'll say, I'm a mom, or I have a full-time job, or, I take care of a sick dog, or whatever it is. And if you have an awesome example from somebody on your team, or even yourself, you could say, well, I know Stefanie, she has 2 kids and she works this business in the cracks of her days and she's been really successful. I know Kelly, she's pregnant and she's been able to do the programs with modifications. So whatever excuses you're getting, if you walk them through, it's going to save you time. And that invite that you just gave them with intention is going to pay off. So for those warm people who are already in your store, do not feel icky in any sort of way, sending them that direct invite in a nice way, like I just said, because if you feel icky about sending invites, you need to think about why you are feeling icky. You need to take a seat and say, why am I feeling icky? Is it because these programs aren't working for me? Is it because I don't believe in Shakeology? I don't believe in the coaching opportunity, or I haven't seen success as a coach because I'm not actually doing the things that I'm asking the people to do? So when you feel like you are inviting to something to make a sale or to get Success Club points, you need to stop right there and think about why, but then invite with intention once you figure out why you're feeling icky. So go back to the beginning. If you're at a point in your business where you're like, okay, my business isn't growing, I am not seeing success with the programs, then you need to do you at that point and not worry about inviting other people. Because when people see you getting results, when people see you being successful in your business, they're going to want to join you because they're going to feel the joy that you are feeling. Now that I just got off topic. Okay. So now if you're inviting cold people, meaning somebody who you saw on Instagram, you connected with them, maybe you've just been, you did a 531 on them. They haven't followed you yet, but you know that they would be an awesome coach on your team, or they could really use our products and our programs. Again, I don't waste time and get to do this whole get to know people, because again, my time is worth something to me and I don't have a lot of it. So what I do is I simply see if they have a story. If they do, I'm that girl commenting in their story, especially if it's a workout or something along those lines. That is such an easy in. But say it's just a mom like me and she has the kids. I'll be like, oh my gosh, your daughter, her hair is so beautiful. Where are you from? I'll do that real quick. And then what I always lead to is, what do you do for a living? That's my next question. And what do you do for a living leads to me, for me to tell them what I do for a living, which then leads into the conversation of, oh, do you also work out, or is coaching something that you've thought about? I see you are a yoga instructor. Yes, 1 minute. Sorry. See, that's mom life for you. Don't have a lot of time. So when the people are cold, you have to warm them up really fast, and you have to make sure it's with your personality. So again, what's in your store needs to match your storefront. So what people see on Instagram stories, what people see in your posts needs to match how you are speaking to them in the DM. Because when that doesn't line up, people aren't feeling you. So everything needs to line up in your store and your storefront, so that when you do invite with that intention, they know exactly what they are getting. They know exactly what you have to offer. Okay, I had some notes here. Okay. So do we have any questions, Kelly?
No, I'm just like taking notes and I'm like nodding my head and just completely agreeing with everything you're saying. So I don't have any questions right now, just thumbs up.
All right, awesome. So when I invite people and they give me the excuses, I walk them through the excuses. I always end every single invite with a question. So whether that question is, have you ever thought about doing what I do as a coach? Or can I send over some information for my next group? Or have you ever, I just make sure it's always a question. So even if I'm commenting about her daughter's hair, it'll be something along the lines talking about my daughter's hair, like, oh, my daughter's hair is really long too. Have you found a good brush for her? So that we can have that next step in our conversation and talk about what we do for a living. Everybody is different. Everybody responds different to your invite. So of course, if somebody is giving you a reason to kind of just back off, then you absolutely should. But when you are inviting with intention, you will get your answer right there. So even if it's a follow-up for next month, at least you know that you don't need to go back to that person this month. You can add them to your list for next month. If it's somebody for the coaching opportunity, you can send them that information. And then I always like my assistant, her name is Siri, and she's very, very efficient, and she's free. I'll say, okay, remind me on Thursday at 11 a.m. because I always sit down at like 11 a.m. to follow up with blah, blah, blah Instagram name. And then I know that I need to follow up with her. And right there, that's when I try to get my answer, because I like to put deadlines on things. I like to say my group kicks off this day. So if you want to join us, you need to make sure that you have your order placed by this day. Or with the coaching opportunity, my next mentorship kicks off this day. I only have this many spots. So if you want a spot, I need to know. And then they'll either say, yes, absolutely, or no, I'm going to have to wait till next month. And even if you didn't put that deadline on them, chances are they were going to wait till next month anyways. You rarely get somebody who's like, yes, let's do this right now. So, and again, next month when you follow up with them, don't feel like you need to have that conversation with them about how's your dog doing. You say, hey girl, I just wanted to check in with you to see if you had a chance to talk to your husband or you had a chance to review the email. And another one of my things that I like to do after I've followed up several times is I like to tell the person the reason I'm being so persistent with them. So if it's somebody who you could really see on your team, one second, somebody that you could really see on your team, put the light on for mommy. Sorry, you guys. This is the joy, Kelly, of having kids. If it's somebody that you could really see on your team, I always say to them, the reason I'm being so persistent, put those on over there, is because I know how good you would be at this and for X, Y, Z reason. So whether they are already a fitness instructor or they've had really great results in your challenge group, this is why. And when you tell them why, it really gets their wheels turning to join you. Like I just had somebody join my team who I literally I gave up on her because she kept saying, no, 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 no. And she's like, oh, I'm too busy. I'm this, I'm that. And I walked her through the excuses and I'm like, you know what? I can't waste any more time. And she just joined me literally like a week ago as a coach. And she wants to be a working coach because she ended up losing her job with this whole COVID thing. So, I mean, if it didn't happen, I don't know if she would have joined me, but that's the power of constantly showing what you have to offer in your store. So don't think that because you've talked about coaching yesterday that everybody caught it, because only 30% of people of your following will actually see your post. Those people who are seeing your story every day, maybe that one time that person who never tunes into your story tunes in and you're talking about, you know, your group and how Susie lost 10 pounds, and that may hit her. So, any questions?
I do have one question, but before I get into that, I loved everything that you said. I'm totally the same way in terms of like just cutting straight to the chase with an invite, because I think at the very beginning of my business, like a lot of new coaches, they're very scared, timid. It's a new thing. They're reaching out to complete strangers or even people that they know. For me, it made me so much more uncomfortable to reach out to people that I knew rather than complete strangers. And I think people overcomplicate it. And your example was super simple. It doesn't have to be like this long drawn out thing. I'm the same way with invites. I just cut straight to the chase. Hey girl, you know, I don't know if you've seen is something I say all the time, but I'm enrolling girls into my boot camp because like you said, I'm talking about it consistently on my stories. And something that I haven't done the best at for me is matching my stories to my posts. So that's something I am now starting to like, I just kind of reflected on myself and realized that I haven't been doing the best about kind of connecting, like you said, because if some people are catching my stories and some people aren't, but maybe they're seeing my feed. So I loved that. And I loved that you said to ask yourself why it feels icky. Because I think especially in the beginning, everything feels icky, especially reaching out to new people when it's something that you haven't grown comfortable with, and asking yourself why. And you said you had great examples as to, well, is it because, you know, you're asking someone to do the things that you're not? Or is it because you don't believe in the products yourself? Or, you know, you aren't using them efficiently yourself and you're not getting results. So I think that was a really good thing to point out. And like you said, leaving with a question. I do that for everything, even if I'm just connecting with someone, because part of the joy of this business is connecting with so many other people. I mean, you and I connected. The majority of the girls on my team, my coaches, my challengers, they were all complete strangers for the majority of the part. And had we never started connecting in some way, shape, or form, whatever our conversation sparked with, and me asking questions, and just that's how you get to know people. And I'm a people person. Like, I love to get to know people, but I'm also an introvert extrovert. So while I like to be a hermit at my house, it's my way for me to reach out and get to know people and feel like I'm not quite a hermit on the same end. And I just wanted to, how many invites do you send a day? Like, how many invites do you send? And I know every day is different, but like, do you have a specific, like, non-negotiable every day, for challengers, like your boot camp, and for coaching?
So I do about 10 and 10 a day. So I do 10 new coach, 10 new challenger, and then I do 20 follow-ups.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I think that's a good number because, like you said at the beginning, your business activity tracker, just, the bare minimum is 5. But if you're counting that up over a week, and then a month, that does slowly start to impact. So if you're able to do a little bit more, because if you're sending out quick, easy, very comfortable, like get to the point, invites, for me, it just like flies by, and before I know it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've sent out like 30 invites and I didn't even mean to. I was just going through my stories. So that's all I have. I don't really have any like questions, unless you wanted to go through like a little bit more about walking through their excuses, because I know that that's something, like, when you hear an objection, kind of how do you walk through? Like, do you just kind of do like the feel, felt, found method where it's like, I totally feel you, I understand, this is what I found type of situation? Because I know everybody's way of handling objections is a little bit different.
Yes. So I do a lot of the feel, felt, found, and I will use examples from girls on my team because sometimes it's not something that I personally have dealt with. Another thing that I will do is, so many people when it comes to coaching is I could never do that. Well, why can't you do this? And a lot of times it's, I'm not where I want to be with my own journey. And then that's when you say, girl, that is exactly why you should be a coach, because people want to watch your journey. They want to see you transform and they want to join that. Nobody wants to join the girl who looks perfect, the girl who has nothing to, fix up or lose or anything like that. So a lot of the times they're like, yeah, you know what? You're right. And I'll even say to them, if you're not ready to become a coach right now, then you should just definitely utilize the programs as a customer, but sign them up as a coach and get your transformation, but share it as you're doing it. You don't have to talk about coaching. Just share what you are doing so that when you do have that transformation, you're not just showing up on social media with a transformation, people being like, what the hell did she do? People have watched you through that journey. So they've learned who you are. They've learned to trust you. They've gotten to know you. And that's when they'll be able to relate to you when you invite them. They're not going to be surprised. Like, did she take a magic pill? They're going to know that you didn't. So please stop.
Yeah, totally agree. Exactly like you said. I think it's so much more relatable to be where you're at in your journey and actually have a transformation. And look, I already had my transformation. That's kind of what led me to today. But now I'm going to have right now I'm in a totally different transformation. I am getting wider and I'm expanding in certain areas, but then I get to kind of restart and go through a rebuilding phase, postpartum, which I'm actually looking forward to because it's going to set me through a whole new challenge and really put me back into a beginner position to really kind of get back to where my challengers feel when they're getting started. So it's something I'm looking forward to for the majority of the part.
Yeah, it puts you, that postpartum transformation really puts you back into like that challenger mode and people
Yeah.
watching you. And there will be people who are going to watch you for your entire pregnancy and that transformation who are saying right now, let's see if these programs work.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they're going to be putting it to the test.
Yeah.
I'm going to be putting it to the test to make sure it works.
But even now, like when you're inviting and you're not, say you're inviting and you're not where you want to be, obviously for you, you're pregnant.
Yeah.
And you can't, show a transformation of abs. But even if you're not where you want to be, you talk about a different type of transformation that you're having. So, or you can talk about the transformation that you're going to get. And as a coach, it's okay to not be perfect. Like a lot of the times, coaches at the beginning feel like I have to show perfect nutrition, I have to show abs, I have to do all of these things when they're inviting or even on their storefront. And that's not true. People want to see the imperfect. People want to be there with you for the journey. So I think a lot of the time also when we're inviting, we feel like, well, I don't have abs, so how am I inviting? And that's not about that. If you're being you on your storefront, people are going to want to join for you, to go on this journey with you.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's so much easier to relate to your coach too when your coach is sharing, you know, what I always say, the good, the bad, the ugly. Not every transformation or everybody's journey is the same. So I'm always sharing my total, I call it the total body or total solution, because it's a mental, physical, and an emotional transformation that I've had. So while I might not be physically changing right now, I'm still working on mentally and emotionally continuing a transformation, because it's not just all about looks. And I share that all the time in my stories. And I think it makes you more relatable when you are sharing the things that aren't so easy or the hard parts and the struggles, because every single person that's going to be joining you and is starting off are going to have those same types of struggles, and it makes you so much more relatable and understanding as a coach. So I really appreciate you coming on.
That's awesome. I hope you guys found that useful.
Yes, and I will send you the recording. I've got notes and I'm just like shaking my head. Yes, I loved it. So I appreciate you taking the time tonight for us, and I hope that you have a good night.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
All right, good night.
Good night.